Just always remember that we're in a risky business and only risk capital should be used. And we are short at right around 48. And I'm looking for, we're short right around here at 48. And I'm looking for a breakdown down to here. Let me mark that up here again just for now. 48. See, they're just start backing them off a little. We got 5 points on the move so far. We've taken 5 points off, and we're just looking from this point down to this point. And it's, of course, once again, like pulling teeth as the riggers come in here now. We've had a little bit of a pullback off this insanely ramped up market, and they just think they're gonna rip it back up there, and they are. And look at that bunch of nonsense, just whipping it back up again. Anything but run an honest deal. Anything but that. Oh my God, how could we dare run an honest market? So we're back up to our entry. We took 5 points. I'm marking that down. 5 points on a third of the position. And we want to see them start backing off under 45 again and get away from 48. Stop trying to jam 48. This isn't earnings stuff. This isn't any of it. It's just insane riggers ramping the market up for some. It looks like the Dow's kind of starting to weaken, and maybe their last vestige of hope for rigging is the NAS. I really don't know. It's so complicated. The news cycle is weird. We'll get to that eventually. Put some stuff up, but I can't. I got to get a cushion on this trade. I got, if they start hovering under 40 to 39 area, then I could, theoretically, I could bring some news up and we could take a look and kind of analyze that. But for right now, it's just still edge of the seat. We got 5 points back on a third of the position. This is a swing trade, officially a swing trade. So we're trying to break down, it went down to 42, 43 on the low, and we're watching for them to dip down. Remember, I gave you that 42 half by 40 half, so we can get them down to 42 half and break that down again on a second attempt. Might be, you know, second time's a charm or whatever they say, lucky charm. Maybe, just maybe, they'll break them down, but right now we are dealing with some vicious rigging on the upside here. Un Illogical, vicious upside rigging for some strange agenda, and no pullback days. Nope, sorry, we don't have any pullback days anymore. We just go straight up every day. And isn't that great? They think we should be just so giddy and happy that that's just so great. And this kind of stuff can only, Lord knows what it's gonna bring. I mean, seriously, it's like I'd never seen this before. Nobody has. And I've seen some real rigged up markets and they all crash. But this one, it's pretty scary what could happen. And the funny thing is everybody's forecasting a big nightmare crash. So guess what? They keep driving them up insanely higher. I'm not forecasting. I'm just saying, just the logic of this type of deal here can only end in a disaster at some point. It's kind of mathematically impossible for it not. They can't keep going up like this for another 6 months or 3 months or whatever. I know it's a melt up of sorts, but it's just so fake. Anyway, we're holding short here. Let's see if we can back them off. We got to get prices right now holding steady under 45. That's going to be our first sign. Holding steady under 45. This is a swing trade, so this could take Another 10 minutes could take another hour, could take more even. I would hate to see that, but when you're in a swing trade, you have to just hold the pattern and expect it to fulfill itself. So right now, they're backing off here, but you can see instead of pressing higher and then returning back lower, they're going into this whipsaw pattern that is continuing to press the upside. So we're just hoping they can back off here a little bit, get things rolling back. But so far, just they keep playing games now with 48's like another new number. Like they get a case of sour grapes or something that, you know, you're not going to take our 48 again. We want to go 68, 55, 66, 62, 60, just playing games here. Here we go again. God, man, oh man. Look at this nonsense spike stuff. Oh man, come on. All right, stay ready to exit the rest of the position. It's we got to control the stops. We can only do what we can do to control the stops in this insane market that refuses to make a steady pullback. Markets go up and then they pull back. They catch exhausted as they pull back, and they ramp back up a little, or they go choppy. There's all these normal scenarios that this thing is just not following. So let's see if we can break them down. Again, once again, holding short, looking for a move. 45 is now the key. Breaking down under 45 is what could possibly start them going lower. And of course, we got to watch for them trying to ramp them up higher. Let's see if we can break them back down under 45 and start to pull the market back to 35. 35 to 36. That's our goal. If we can survive this goofy little ramp up they just did and they start pressing under 45, we may get that result. It should be in the cards as far as everything I can see here. Let's just see if they can press them. So we're under 45. The last low was 43. So obviously we have to take out 43. So holding under 45, no more jamming them back to 48, which could happen. I've said it more than enough times. Who's running this game? And they're disgusting. I want them to know if they're listening. They're not, but hey, might as well put it out there. 45 holding lower, resisting 48, pressing under 43 should produce a lower market. If we can break them down under 40 half, then 39 becomes the new point of contention. 38, 40. So breaking 42.50, 43 down, holding it down, holding under 45. It's a swing trade, so you have to you got to watch these successive kind of reactions to the direction you're swinging in and contrasting it to the numbers from the previous upside move. And So 43 or lower, holding back, and then breaking down 40 half. Trying to break them down here, trying to, you can see that it's just so stupid, these games these riggers are playing. But let's see if we can get a pylon under 43. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a pylon that knocks out 42.50 and then cracks 40. And then holding under 40, watching 39, then hopefully, if that happens, which may be starting to set up now, 39 is going to be a little challenge area. The riggers may try to jack it all the way back up, or it might just crack from there. My charts tell me it should crack sooner than later. In other words, it should crack, and it could be a larger scale move. Now, just real quick here, let me just check something because we may try to live a little dangerously and project a bigger move, possibly down to 30. But right now, I'm just trying to take it easy with this market coming back in after last week and then just kind of coming back in here and realizing that this is some tricky stuff here and it's earnings and all this. I don't want to, if we can achieve 35 to 36, I think even though I believe it should be a larger scale move down to 30, well, let's do this. Let's just, there's no shame in this. We'll just move it down to 30. That would be the ultimate goal I would look to achieve. Let's do that. Let's see if it does want to turn into a larger scale pullback. We'll pull it down to 30 as the ultimate goal. Watch 39. Of course, our original 35 to 36 area. We'll watch that. And we'll just leave that 30 in there and kind of go for it and see if it indeed that ends up being where it's at, for a stronger pullback. Right? That's worth it, right? That way we got sort of best of both worlds, and we'll take some more off. Or we got +5 so far on 1/3 down there at 43, and we'll just do our best. I mean, who would have thought they're going to rig them up like this again after Friday and Thursday's action? What can you say? Just be glad to know that we're the people making money here. I don't know what others are doing. I'm assuming they're getting cut up pretty bad, you know, trying to trade this stuff. So let's see if we can, I mean, day by day, not 1 hour period or this or that, but I mean, just day by day. I'm hearing the stories, I'm hearing the stories out there. So, but once again, games are being played as they roll them back to 40. Remember that 40 half number I gave you? 40 even is the low here. So some game is going on with 40 even. Let's hope See, hope and see if they can keep them under 45, not try to jam 48 again, and just let this thing slowly sell off in a normal fashion. But no guarantees, as you know. I mean, this thing is, they're just out for blood, as they say. See if we can break them down. Just don't be too disappointed if they start ramping them up to 38 again. It's just, we're dealing with literally a bunch of, you know, psychos. These riggers are just acting like psychos. No pullbacks means the market is not in control of the real buyers and sellers. It's controlled by a bunch of psychos. You don't have markets that go this long without. I mean, it's just so normal to have a down 100, $150 day, another down 80 day. Okay, so then they ramp them up and they keep pressing higher. Okay, but at least you have normalizing pullback days. So all of us out here that are doing what I'm doing and writing newsletters about the stock market, I'm watching them all just have to adapt to this and keep keep your sanity and keep your head on straight. Let's see if we can break them down. Cracking 40 down. I'm going to advise you to take some off at 38. That would be 10 points. So take some more, another contract off. Say on a three contract example is what I use for this. Whether you're trading 30 or 10 or 5 or 4, whatever. If you're a blue collar working trader, that's generally considered to be four contracts. But on a three contract example, you're off one at 43, take another one off at 38, and then we'll see if they actually can just completely lose ground and crack down to 35, 36 area, and then possibly just see some sell pressure come in here and knock them down even further to the 30 area would be the ultimate target anyway. Sure, the whole thing could stage a massive reversal and finally start selling off, but we just don't know. And the way it's going, we're better off just following our normal parameters and scalping off these things as they come in here. So let's see if we can get some one more contract or one more third off at 38, 62.38 on the dip lower. Trying to crack 40. You got to get that 39 action going. We got to get them in the 30s and get 39 going. 38.75, 38.50, 39 quarter. Just hovering around there should cause some more selling pressure, which is what we're looking for ultimately a spillover to the downside. 38 is again where we're going to take another third off, and then if that happens, um, that'll be great. That'll be 10 points, and then we're going to try to hold them for 35 to 36, and then maybe if they get down there and some sense and logic comes back to this market, they will start kind of getting crunched under that and then down somewhere in that 30 to 31, maybe 3150 area. They, it would just be a reaction to 35 to 36, sort of a spillover lower crunch. A lot of those come in. I'll get out at a certain target, and then there's that extra selling pile-on that might occur. So we're going to watch and see if all this pans out here. So next step is just to take another 30-year position off if you're trading multiples at 38. Possibly getting set up here to break down. Take something off at 38. Rather err on the side of caution than on the side of letting the riggers spike it back up from one of these inflection points. So don't worry. Yeah, I'm expecting they're going to sell them down to 30 to 31, but let's just be smart. And if they get that 38, take another third off. We'll just slowly repair the damage from shorting that massive, insane ramp up, which cost us a few points here. But we'll get them back. Don't worry. Just stick with our process here, and don't try to handpick certain trades and miss others. It's really, if you're going to trade with me here in the room to be successful, just follow the trades that I do and on the Nasdaq. And crude oil's a little more pick and choose because that method's mechanical anyway, and you can grab those trades on your own. That's how we have the room set up. I mean, you can go short. I mean, that's a classic first level crude oil short winner. No trade here. There's a crossover, but it's all and this is like a classic reset and a second level sell. You can take those trades on your own. Let me go over them just briefly. I always usually do this every day. You got 38 there, so we got an additional 10-point move there. From 545, this is where crude oil started. It was really choppy, and this is like a second level trade. It's valid trade, but it's kind of weird market. But usually, if it's super full of whipsaw, we don't get into them too much. But this is a classic trade with all the ingredients for a buy. So as the buyer opens, a pullback signal line here at 754.07 comes down to 02, just a little bit of pressure, and then shoots up. So that's the first winning trade on crude oil today. We mark that. We track that for our record. We have a cross under of the dynamic trend band number 2, and we see that crossing under the orange line here, which is an additional double layer of, but technically once it crosses, the Cobra crosses under, this is the Cobra line here, crosses under the dynamic trend band number 1, and you just see some sort of flattening in here. You can go short. So the second short would have been right here, 31, and 31 dropped them down to 23. That's an 8-tick move, and that's cool. That's plus 8. We look for 8 to 10 ticks. So when they go down and hit 8, that zone, what happens a lot of times, they'll take a dive down to they'll dive down to 8 ticks sometimes. They'll tap it, and they'll tap it again. Those are the kind you want to just grab the 8 ticks. But when a lot of times they'll get on a real strong thrust, and they'll dive right through that 8 to 10 tick zone, and they'll go one move. They'll go like where it had been 15 ticks. That's where you can grab the 10 tick moves. But we got plus 10 on another third. So now we're just holding, and the riggers once again are jacking them back up. Now notice how they went one tick below our price estimate, or two ticks. Now they're rebouncing them. So let's see if they can resume the downside trend swing trade, which I'm projecting move down towards 35 to 36, and then possibly the ultimate goal would be around 30 to 31. Everything's lining up for a stronger downside move according to my indicators. Let's see if they can break them back down under 38 and then lose 38. This time losing 38 for a drive down to the 35 to 36 area. But I am going to try, well, I don't know, 30's right here. It may be pushing a little, but they've made some pullback. We're basically asking, can we finally get a normal pullback continuation rather than just a little pullback and then the riggers get all hyper on the upside again? That's always a big question. But my indicators right now are suggesting a stronger downside move somewhere between 30 and 35. But I would definitely think that they could get them going a little stronger. A little stronger from here, I mean to say. A little. When I'm sharing my thoughts here in the room, I'm just I'm trading just, like I'm trading alone, except I'm just narrating all the things that are going on and my thoughts about everything. And so sometimes I'll stop and think for a second, but I always try to finish my sentence. So anyway, I mean, anything could happen, and we've seen where these riggers are at. So the system right now is really strongly telling me to hold out for a move down that'll run 35 and possibly bust it. The idea is that if they go to 35 area, that's where you could get. That's going to be a point, a charting point where sellers might pile on there because they're presuming that it's a complete change in bias according to their chart reading methods. So I track all those numbers according to these popular ideas that'll occur at these certain prices. So that's why if they go to 35 and we can get them to roll back down there, then there would be that possible selling pile-on down there under 35 where either longs are getting stopped out or there just tends to be a pile-on of selling action. But so far they're kind of hovering around 40 here. They're not really giving us much to go on. I'd love to check the news, but I just want to make sure if they're going to try to re-ramp them back up that we just sort of get out. Got an average of 7 points on 2/3 of the position. And love to just finish it off down there at 30 if we could, 31. That would be incredibly great. But I don't know. They may just get another case of ramp up fever here, these riggers. They're not into letting normal patterns on the sell side pan out, that's for sure. Let's give them a chance, though. It's a swing trade, so we got to give them a chance to see if they can make an honest market out of it. Good luck. Let's see what we can do. Would love to see it, that's for sure. Everything's setting up for a stronger downside move to kick in here. I see that. The charts see it. My proven method of reading the chart says it. The riggers see it. And it's just a matter whether they decide to blow it out and just kind of kick in this big, goofy, spiky ramp up back to 45 and then maybe even attempt to blow it out all the way back up here again. I don't know. There's no way of knowing. I can't even really calculate the odds because the chart pattern here is so strong right now for a lower pullback that I would, in normal markets, whatever that is anymore, whatever that is, I would say the odds highly favor that move down to 30. But, like I said, I was off last week, so I looked at some stuff and watched the markets, but not as carefully, obviously. And so I didn't have the feel of it. I wasn't really fully watching the movements of the price. But I could see from the overall situation was like just going nuts on this ramp up crap. Okay, so that was our last. Let me get back to it. So no trade here. Um, you have matching dynamic trend bands, but they didn't match till here. Otherwise, just a weird spread out pattern that's just not right. The whole sequence is not right. And then here it gets back to normal here. This is right after we open the room. Dynamic trend channel opens up. The price pressure bands spread out. Just classic, matching dynamic trend bands. Filter opens here. Cobra's under the orange line. It's just classic. Everything's in sync. Pull back the signal line at 30 and kablamo. Those are those 10 ticks moves that just get hammered really hard and fast to the downside. Those will give you the 10 tick. And this again, a second level attempt here. It didn't disrupt entirely the flow or the dynamic trend band number 2, but what happened was there was a crossover. So that resets the pattern. So all we're doing is watching for the next pattern, which wasn't a buy pattern, but indeed it turned out to be a sell pattern on crude. Again, classic sell arrow, dynamic trend bands are matching everything, just like that last one. And there's a sell at 54, and they come down to 83. So quick 10 tick move here from 54 even, 10 tick move. So far 3 crude oil setups for 10 ticks, 1 for 8 ticks. They started breaking that NAS down to 939. Now they're snapping it back a little bit. You can see the general pressure is still on the downside. And we're just wondering if they're going to go down and break 38 down and give us a good solid kick to the downside. Okay, they're hovering back at 39. We're just looking now for a little pylon under 38. That's the secret. Get 38 going and get everybody agreeing that 38 should sell down. If we can get 38 to sell down and start, we just have to look at how the pressure's looking. If 38 breaks down, if it's kind of a real pylon or if it's just sort of a casual sort of like tap and then a bounce. It's all we can do is just watch the numbers to see if they give us information on whether this thing wants to break down to that second level breakdown. I'm starting to become inclined though, based on the way the DTBs are looking here. It doesn't mean they can't sell off to 30, but I'm just, because of this pattern, I'm just becoming a little more inclined to get more serious about 35 to 36 again, and then just watching for the next setup, just resetting everything. So let's do that. Let's forget about 30 and just go right back to 36 again, and let's see if we can hopefully get that going. 36. So right back to this same number we had earlier. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe they're going to try, the riggers are going to try to snap them back, but right now, absolutely, we've got a shot at a stronger downside move according to the chart pattern. If we can just get that pressure back down. In fact, let's compromise just slightly so we don't feel too disappointed if they do hit them harder. Let's just go 34. Okay, so 30, 43 in general, holding back. A return back under 40, breaking down 38 to 39 zone, which they haven't really officially blasted yet. And it's just, it's another day of trading in a very oddball, rigor controlled market. They're they think they're being so nice, letting us have a pullback. Aren't they nice? Let's just see if we can get them to break down here. Okay, that helps a little, but we need to get some solid pressure going under 38. Until that happens, we can't get too excited about the trade. I think it's coming. I think we're ready for a stronger downside move. Probably to 30. Who knows? I mean, if we scrunch them up here, you can see this is very minor compared to what they did. Yeah, I mean, 24 could possibly be in the cards, but right now, I mean, 30 would have been the ultimate goal of this trade if it was going to pan out. And they're just starting, according to my charts, a new sell down pattern. So what we're going to do is, rather than go 35 or try to stretch for 30, which might have entail a little more risk, we're going to let's try to work 33 and then just be done with it. If we get 33, I'll be just happy as a clam. I mean, at least we compromise a little based on how the riggers are acting. And if that indeed ends up being the case, that they right now somewhere in here they crack. Okay, they crack. Okay, there's 36 on a big crunch, and that's those sellers I was talking. Okay, watch for. We're trying to take them out at 33 even right now. 33 even. Stay ready to jump out anytime here. 33 even. Take them
Target
out at half.
filled.
33. Boom. Gun. Done. And you see, you just have to wait for it. The pattern was there. There's the crunch. There's our 33. And look how they're stalling right there. So, we could have said, oh, but look, they didn't go 30. So my idea of going 34 and then changing it at the last minute and saying, no, go 33. Look at that. That was the, in quotes, easy money of this. I think a continuation is in order to the downside, but that was the easy money. And from here, I don't know what's going to happen. The riggers could go nuts and re ramp them to the moon, or they hover up here a little bit and then crack again. So great job on that trade, and I sure appreciate it.